Welcome back. In 2023, I released 5 games, and before that I couldn't imagine myself releasing a game at all. I started developing games about 12 years ago when I found XNA and I wanted to release an indie game on Xbox 360, but I never released any game until this year. Making games is so hard. It takes a lot of time to learn from past failures if you develop a single game over 3 to 5 years. So in 2023, I took a different approach and built a different workflow so I can fail fast and learn more. It took me 3 months to release my first game. On March, Space Box Wars. And after that, I released 4 more games: Loot Rat, The Last Mob Witness, The Last Mob Witness Remastered, and the last game of this year, Highway Burnout. I still have one game that is half made, a Castaway Survivor card game. It will be the first game to be released on 2024. So what did I learn with every game? Let's do a quick recap because each lesson applies to any game's engine. Number 1. With Spacebox Wars, I wanted to make large number of enemies on screen. Lot of bullets, particles and upgrades. Sounds easy, but this is quite difficult to achieve in a way that your game feels fluid. Building the mechanism to reuse objects so you do not allocate memory for every object is something you will need to do on your games, no matter which game you create. Particles, enemies, bullets, weapons, and many more things will be created and destroyed by your game engine or framework, so you need to be extremely careful to manage that, and this is called object pooling. And with every new game, I added more functionality to my object pooling manager to make this process even more efficient. Number 2. Import and export data. Your game will have a lot of data to read, like textures, music, configuration files, enemies information, and much more. So you do not want to hardcode things in the game, and instead put all of that into external files. With Loot Rat, I created a very simple way to import and export data to Excel, so I can quickly test different configurations. You cannot imagine how much time I wasted creating all the importers and exporters, so automating most of the work can save you a lot of time. I created different Excel macros so I could export data into XML format very easily. I can add and remove columns, and all the XML formatting is handled by the macro. And that was implemented in my third game, The Last Mob Witness. Number 3. Level editors. There are third-party level editors you can download even for free, but one thing that can make a really big difference is to have the level editor built inside your game, so you can edit and play test your game at the same time, something that you cannot do if you use an external editor. This saves a lot of time and can quickly debug issues and test new ideas. I have not seen this in any other game myself, since level editors are usually external tools. 2 of my games have the same level editor. Number 4. There are 2 main ways to create graphical user interfaces: retain mode and immediate mode. Retain mode is when you use external tools to create your user interfaces, for example HTML, and there is the immediate mode where you write the code at the time of drawing of your user interface elements on screen, for example GUI. Both are good, but as I mentioned before, if I have to edit my game to make the user interface design, I waste time, and I have to write a lot of code to make my user interface on screen. I also waste a lot of time, so I created the iterative mode in which I can edit my user interface while playing the game without having to leave it. I can add buttons and controls while the game is active. I only need to pause the game and add all the elements I need. Then I can add the code for the events of the graphic user elements like click, scroll, and so on. This saved me a lot of time. I can iterate very quickly, and the user interface is decoupled like retain mode, since all the information about the look and feel of the user interface is stored in an external file. So only the code that handles the events is inside the game. But I can adjust or change the user interface elements at any point of time, even when playing the game. All my games use the same graphical user interface, and I can change the look and feel of it, so I do not have to make the same menu options again and again, saving me months of work. Number 5. Saving and loading your game data. That sounds easy. You can decide what to save into files and write the way to save and load your game data. Let's say game configuration, user settings, game progress, and so on. You will write a loader and reader for every data piece you want to store. That is the wrong way to do it. It will take a lot of time to make, and for every change you will need to update again each loader and saver. That is a huge amount of time wasted. You can easily get demoralized doing that without much progress, wasting your precious time. But there is a better way to do it, and that is through data contracts. You can add, remove fields, objects and much more without having to write anything specific to it, and it will load and save everything you need. This can save you months of work depending on your game type. The last Mob Witness used this concept for the level editor, and all my other games use the same for the game configuration, settings and more, even for the graphical user interface. And that's it, 5 games released this year and 5 things I learned the hard way, so you can use those to make your next game and save as much time as you can so you can enjoy doing what you love. And what is coming up for next year? I'm planning again to release 5 to 6 games, starting with a card game that's still in progress, and 5 more. Every new game introduces a new tool, a new learning experience. Finally, wish you a wonderful holiday and Happy New Year. Wish you a lot of success. If you want to support my work, please click like and subscribe and click on the notification bell so you do not miss my next update. Thank you so much for watching my journey. See you next week.